So a viewer recently asked me if I could go ahead and explain Sidespin or English and how to use it in real situations. Sidespin and English are the same thing, and it's all about how you hit the cue ball to control where it goes after making contact. In this video, we'll go step by step, starting with the basics: top, bottom, right, and left English. And I'll show you how you can use those in real situations in every game. I think that was good. We're gonna call it good. All right, so to start with, we're gonna go ahead and do top spin. So to start with, we're gonna go ahead and hit the cue ball at 12 o'clock. If you look dead center at the cue ball and imagine it like a clock, 12 o'clock is gonna be on the top of the cue ball, which is gonna give it top spin or top English. This is what it looks like. Now, let's go ahead and look at bottom spin or backspin. People also know this as a draw shot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit a low center at the 6 o'clock face, and that's gonna go ahead and pull the cue ball backwards. All right, and now at your 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock times, that's gonna be your left and right English. Those are definitely apparent when you hit the ball. Here's what I mean. But I love to use those more off of the rail. Oops. Okay. All right, now that we've got the basics down and we understand what 12, 6, 3, and 9 look like, or top, bottom, left, and right English looks like, let's go ahead and see when we'd actually use that in a real game scenario. So right here, I have the cue ball kind of lined up between the two side pockets. I have a dead straight shot on the 7, but if the cue ball stays right here, I'm straight on the 8. And it's gonna go straight into the side rail. I don't wanna be straight on the 8 into the side rail. I wanna be straight on the 8 into a corner pocket, into that corner pocket over there. For this one, we're gonna hit 12 o'clock. This is gonna be a tip above center. This is what that'll look like. All right, so as we can tell, that cue ball landed right here, which gave us a straight shot. I wanna show what'll happen if you hit just dead center. So if we just start off and not leave ourselves in this position, what we get is a nice, easy, straight shot for the 8 ball. That cue ball was able to roll forward and give me a much easier shot on this 8 ball. Now let's talk about bottom spin or bottom English. We're gonna go ahead and hit the 6 o'clock face. I just realized this is actually the 6 ball. This shot is perfect when you want to bring the ball backwards after contact to leave you a better setup for your next ball. Maybe you've got a problem ball that's kind of on this half of the table, but all the other ones are on this half. You want to go ahead and get that out of the way as quick as possible, but you don't want to stay down there. This is where backspin helps. This helps you get back to where you want to be while still getting rid of that problem ball. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit the 6 o'clock face. When it comes to top English and bottom English, the one thing that I struggled with, and I still do occasionally, is gripping the cue stick too hard. And it actually diminishes the amount of energy and reaction you can get from the cue ball itself by doing that. Here's where English really starts to open up. Getting to understand how to use left and right English is definitely going to open up your game. So when it comes to shooting a straight in shot, we're going to go ahead and hit this ball at the 9 o'clock mark, or the left side. So what this is gonna allow us to do is spin the cue ball in this rotation, hit the 7, and then it's gonna just naturally drift over this way for the 8 ball. If I was to just hit it straight on, dead center, it's gonna stay in this kind of position, which leaves us an easy bank, but it could be a lot easier of a shot if we didn't have ourselves a bank. With that being said, because we are spinning the cue ball left, this ball is going to naturally want to go the opposite direction. So it's going to naturally spin right. So we definitely want to make sure that we're accounting for what's called deflection. What that just means is that if this is going to go left, then this is going to go right. This is going to be just a 9 o'clock hit, which is then going to allow our cue ball to drift just straight left. Let's go ahead and do this shot with right spin. Definitely makes it trickier, right? So because the 8 ball is on the left side and I want the cue ball to travel left, I'm going to hit it on the left side, the 9 o'clock. If we were to move this 8 ball to this diamond over here, instead of us hitting at the 9 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and hit at the 3 o'clock. Now, to really have some fun and understand this a lot more, I'm going to show you guys what the spin is going to do once it reacts off of the rail itself. These are definitely my favorite get out of jail free cards, as you might say. 7, or hitting at the 9 o'clock spot, which will allow the cue ball to hit the rail and come straight out back this way. But our next ball is up here on the 8 ball. So yes, we could do some backspin and hope it gets through this cluster, but let's go ahead and mix the two together. Let's go ahead and mix our 9 and our 12 and hit around that 1038 spot, if not close to our 11 spot, which is going to allow the cue ball to, yes, have enough speed to follow through, but it's going to give it even more angle that we have now. That's going to allow the cue ball to travel up to this rail and then back out through this cluster. The same works if we were to do it the opposite way. All right, now that we know the basics of English when it comes to top spin, bottom spin, left and right, let's go ahead and include that all into one run out, which will allow us to see how important and useful it is, especially getting shape and sinking more balls in at an easier rate. What I have set up here is going to show us everything that we've already talked about. With this 4 ball, I'm going to go ahead and use top English to follow it forward, which will then set me up for the 5 ball on the short rail here. 5 ball is going to go into this corner, as the cue ball is going to go into this rail and then back out here for the 6. With that, we're going to go ahead and use backspin. After hitting the 6, bring the cue ball back close to the 7, which will then allow us to use right spin to get farther down the table using the rails. You don't have to stick to the 12, 3, 6, and 9. You can go ahead and use the 1 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, the, whatever. Right now, this is just a basic beginner's tips and tricks on how to get more efficient. Let's go ahead and get this run going. What we're going to do is, since we want the cue ball to go left, we're going to go ahead and hit with left spin. Let's go ahead and use the 6 ball and bring the cue ball backwards. Understanding English is one of the biggest steps to being more consistent in pool. Start small. Pay attention to the cue ball reactions, then build from there. If this breakdown helped you, go ahead and watch this video over here to my right, which will then explain how to actually think ahead and use these spins to your advantage. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Trent on the break. I made one and it wasn't the cue ball.